Black Adam gave me cancer. Black Adam gave me a hemorrhoid. Black Adam gave me crippling depression. Black Adam gave me a kidney stone. Black Adam gave me AIDS. These are all the stupid clickbait titles that people are going to be using to describe Black Adam. And it's going to be on the complete opposite side of the spectrum too, with like, Black Adam restored my faith in the DC universe and all those stupid titles. And if you actually clicked on this video thinking I'm going to refer to Black Adam as being as bad as cancer, you're out of your mind. Black Adam isn't the worst thing on the earth. No one's died watching it, except for some DC fans who lost an intense amount of fluids in the theater after watching that post-credit scene. But I haven't been this depressed walking out of a theater since I saw Red Notice, but this movie is not as bad as that one. I don't think anything can be as bad as Red Notice.
Beautiful and sweet.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like that guy. Yeah, I like that guy.
Apparently, people are loving this. Somehow, this factory-made movie that's just there to have you shovel popcorn into your face while you inhale soda. That way you have to go to the bathroom halfway through and come back with no context of what's going on, so you end up liking the movie, is somehow being praised as a really good movie. I really don't know who is praising this movie. Maybe it's just average Joes or really diehard DC fans, because I cannot comprehend how this bland cookie-cutter superhero movie is being viewed as this actual fun movie. Like, this was awful. Am I just taking crazy pills? Who could possibly like this? Today the DC hierarchy changes. Boom. Man, I cannot wait for the DC hierarchy to change. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, man, what a melon that man has. If I could just touch it and, oh man, I love that man. If I could, oh, he's so good. Wouldn't be complete if I didn't have my Black Adam shoes. Oh baby, these bad boys be dripping with style. I love The Rock. He's my favorite guy in the whole world. There he is every day. Let's be clear, I'm not saying you're an idiot if you like this movie. That's fine. I like stupid movies too. But for me, watching this movie was like watching a dog that was barely breathing, struggling for life, getting ran over by a 16-wheeler. And don't say that I just don't like this movie because I'm a DC hater. I like DC, insert proof here, but I just call it as I see it. And Black Adam was a bad, bland movie that made me want to drive into a brick wall afterwards. This entire movie feels like it was made by a computer. Remember when Warner Bros. Said they were going to have algorithms pick out what projects got greenlit? I am convinced this is one of them. And it's so weird that this movie feels so factory made because DC recently has been doing a pretty good job of hiring directors with unique styles. Matt Reeves did a great job for the Batman, and James Gunn with the Suicide Squad was a great fit. But for Black Adam, DC didn't really hire a creative director. They got a work for hire director. His name is, I'm gonna butcher this, Jean Colette Serra? I'm so sorry. But he's mostly known for directing some pretty basic movies. He directed these 3 Liam Neeson movies that all look the same from their poster. He also directed Jungle Cruise, which also stars The Rock. And I think that's kind of where the biggest problem the movie shows itself. I know, I hear you. How could it be that The Rock is the worst part of this movie? And it's not that his performance is the worst part. I think it's the fact that the entire movie centers around him from every part of the production. He's the reason this movie was made. And sure, that's impressive. And he's single-handedly kept this movie from getting canned. But what happened afterwards is he basically got in charge of the entire movie. Who should the director be? It's the guy who worked on Jungle Cruise. Who is writing the script? Have one of the writers of Rampage, because he did Rampage before. The Rock is a fun actor, but this movie could never reach its full potential like The Batman, because in The Batman, everyone who was working on that movie was involved in trying to make the best Batman movie. Here it feels like The Rock was the only thing they really knew they had, and they just kind of tried to jellycraft this entire movie around him. Is jellycraft even a word? What am I saying? And that idea of picking the safest bet every time also trickles down to the casting. Oh, need to get that dad demographic to come in to see your movie, so get Pierce Brosnan in the movie. Why Pierce Brosnan? Well, he was the James Bond of all the dads when they were kids, so they'll come see the movie if he's in it. Oh, looks like it's not testing well with the teenage audience. Well, bring in Noah Centineo. He's a really famous Netflix actor, been in a lot of crappy Netflix movies. Bring him in as Atom Smasher, so now we have a more demographic of teenagers going to go see the movie. Even when they do bring in really talented people to show up for the movie, they are not able to shine. The cinematographer for this movie is Lawrence Sher. He's the same guy who did the cinematography for Joker, and that movie looks amazing. But this movie just looks so bland and flat, like nothing stands out. Speaking of bland, what do I hear right there? Oh, it's the music. Now, they did bring in Lorne Balfe, the esteemed composer of the fantastic video game Skylander Giants, and he dropped one of the most boring scores, along with a theme song that straight up just rips off the Magneto theme from X-Men First Class, except it goes, hi-ya!
looks awful. And the story here is just so generic. The story here really is just paint by numbers and feels like it was literally written by a 5-year-old. It's just characters fighting characters for an hour and a half until they realize who the bad guy is, and the bad guy shows up in the last act, and then Black Adam has to fight him. The story is so dry. Kill me. And it's of these poor VFX artists have to create every fight in this movie because nothing else is happening throughout the entire thing. And as the movie goes on, you can see the VFX get worse and worse. It's sad. The first fight, you're like, oh, alright, this looks pretty solid, looks pretty good. And then by the end, it just looks like a PlayStation 3 cutscene from those God of War games. Like, it literally looks straight out of one of those games. And I'm not blaming the VFX artists at all. Every scene in this movie with Dr. Fate is the best scene in the movie, and they are the entire reason those scenes exist. And honestly, if the VFX artists weren't even in this movie would be like 3 minutes long. I just feel bad for them. I can't imagine the crunch time on this movie because the entire movie is basically VFX, and the movie was only delayed like 3 months. Like, there's no way they were able to finish all the effects on time, and it shows. Like, I don't know why this movie just wasn't delayed till next July or something. That way the movie would have actually had decent effects, you know? It wouldn't have made the movie good, but at least would have been better. But then I guess the DC hierarchy wouldn't have changed, you know? It's not like there's constantly DC hierarchy changing from behind the scenes at Warner Brothers. No, they have this all mapped out. This movie is so stitched together. You can see it in almost every aspect. So in order to cover it up, the movie's just on full sensory overload the entire time. It's always moving. There's always action. You never know what's happening. There's fun, right? Look at Rock. He's saying the quips. Oh, why is there a skeleton army bursting out of the ground? Don't worry about it. Wait, is that a kid skateboarding away from mercenaries? Did he just get away on a skateboard? Don't worry about it. She just caused a tornado in the middle of an alley. Does anyone care? Don't worry about it. There's no way Atom Smasher didn't kill at least one person walking through the city. Does anyone? Don't worry about it. This movie is just lazy. They call this movie a passion project, but where's the passion? The Rock has been trying to get this movie off the ground for 15 years, but why? Was there a story here? Because this isn't a movie. This is just a marketing tool that pushes The Rock and his brands. I mean, this feels like the bare minimum of a movie. The story is so bland, such bland direction, cinematography, music. It feels like they were just doing the bare minimum to get this thing out the door. Sometimes the movie is bailed out with really cool moments with Dr. Fate, and Pierce Brosnan is really great as him. He's a great Dr. Fate. Man, overall, what a snooze fest. This movie is nothing. It's like a saltine cracker, and at the end it just teases a sequel. But if this is the quality of DC going forward, count me out. This entire movie is just mind-numbing visual effects and stupid action, and then just setting up terrible movies. And if you're gonna do that, it better at least have a 300-foot tall monkey fighting a giant lizard. But I guess I'm in the minority. 90% of people love this movie, apparently, according to Rotten Tomatoes. This movie has no passion, no vision, no direction. But you know, it's okay. I'm always gonna have those movies that I love, and I guess everyone else can love this movie. Black Adam wasn't for me. It's not my thing. I think it's dumb, stupid spectacle, but I can always go watch my weird art house movies like The Lighthouse, or I can go rewatch The Thing or something. Yeah, this isn't my thing, but if it's your thing, that's awesome, and I'm happy that it is, because I don't really want to crap on this movie anymore. I'm sick of being the Grinch in the corner. This and the Rings of Power video, you know, we gotta go back on a positive streak. Anyways, I'm gonna give Black Adam a 3 out of 10. Not my thing. I don't really care about this movie, and I'm never gonna watch it again. But you know what I would watch, Warner Brothers? A Dr. Fate movie. Come on, Warner Brothers, give it to me. That was so... Pierce Brosnan was like perfect casting. I know you did it out of marketing, but please, give me it. I want it. Please, please.